All right, Sarah Sanders has just put a statement on this BBC assault that occurred at the president's speech last night. The president condemns all acts of violence against any individual group of people, including members of the press. We ask anyone attending the event to do so in a peaceful and respectful manner. More to this.
Now, President Trump is considering whether to sign a compromise package on border security aimed at avoiding another government shutdown. It gives a fraction of the money he wanted to pay for a wall, but he says he'll build it anyway. Speaking ahead of a cabinet meeting today, Mr. Trump said he didn't like the deal, but may still sign it to keep the government open.
Am I happy at first glance? I just got to see it. The answer is no, I'm not. I'm not happy. I don't think you're going to see a shutdown. I wouldn't want to go to it now. If you did have it, it's a Democrat's fault.
Well, his comments come a day after a raucous rally in El Paso where a BBC cameraman was attacked by a Trump supporter. Alexis Simendinger is a national political correspondent for The Hill, and she joins me now to discuss it all. Alexis, how nervous do you think lawmakers are right now, knowing that Mr. Trump doesn't like this deal?
Not only do they know he doesn't like the deal, but they also know that the president is capable of pulling some surprises based on the media coverage that he watches intensively at night and often in the morning. And we know that some of his stalwart supporters from Fox News have already called it a garbage compromise and have actually lampooned him or made fun of him. So, you know, those kind of words sting, but the president has indicated that he understands the shutdown was not a winner, 35 days of having the part of the government closed. He's also suggested that he can rhetorically call this a win by saying that we're going to finish the wall. He's pivoted his language. Regardless of how much money is in the compromise package, he's talking about how it's still a win for his argument about border security, no matter whether it's 55 miles or 200 miles.
But has this actually moved the issue on at all?
It's moved it on. Lawmakers are very eager to say, let's move on to other issues. If they can put this behind them by the deadline of Friday night and have the president sign this and move on to other issues, we know that Senator McConnell, the Republican leader of the Senate, and the president's allies in the House, including Kevin McCarthy and even Mr. Meadows from North Carolina, have encouraged the president to think about moving on.
Well, Build the Wall was one of the chants at the rally last night in El Paso, where one of our cameramen was in fact assaulted by a Trump supporter. The BBC has asked the White House and the Trump campaign to review security, and we have now heard back from the White House in a statement saying President Trump condemns all acts of violence against any individual or group of people, and that includes members of the press. My question is, do you see any change of tone as we approach the 2020 election?
Well, we know that the president's allies and his supporters at these rallies are very well practiced now after the 2016 election, and they play to the president, and the president is playing to his audience. So no, I don't see that the audience itself or the president's desire to play to them will change. What we may see is a continued effort on the part of the president's allies to encourage him to tone it down. But we have heard that before. The president has been encouraged to stop doing this by everyone from the publisher of the New York Times to the president's own staff, and he just can't help himself.
And one of his supporters that you just mentioned has called this not a deal on a wall, but a stall. Does that mean that border security and the wall will still be an issue in 2020?
Oh, as long as the president continues to focus on border security, and he really has found a base of support for it, he'll keep talking about it regardless of where the funding or the arguments go.
Alexis Simendinger, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thanks so much.
Okay, Indian.